Our very next speaker is Tibora Girczyc-Blum. She is director of Scrap Humboldt, and she is going to be talking to you today about Beyond Art, Creative Reuse on the Road to Innovation. Please welcome Tibora.
So who here has been to a creative reuse center? Yeah, all right. So San Francisco has two main ones. The oldest one is Scroungers for Creative Reusable Art Parts in San Francisco. Who's been there? Woo! Yeah, that place is amazing. Huge warehouse of materials diverted from the waste stream, specifically arts, crafts, office supplies, really designed and dedicated towards the education community, but also serve artists, entrepreneurs, etc. So I'm from Scrap, USA. Let's see. There you go. Cool. So Scrap in San Francisco helped support and nurture Scrap in Portland. There are a lot of scraps around the world, popular acronym. Scrap up in Portland stands for School Community Reuse Action Project. And about 5 years ago, they had about a waiting list of 200 people who wanted to start creative reuse centers in their community. And so they formed a national nonprofit organization. And since then, there are about, you can see the locations around the US. So Scrap Portland is the mothership. And then we have Scrap in Michigan, Denton, Texas, Washington, DC, New Orleans, and then my Scrap in Arcata, California, which is in the true Northern California, about 5 hours north of here, up in the Redwoods. Just have to say that. California keeps going. So our mission to inspire creative reuse and environmentally sustainable behavior by providing these affordable materials to the community and education programming. There we go. So what is creativity? That's kind of one of these questions that gets, this definition of creativity gets diluted. How I like to define creativity is problem solving. So a lot of people define creativity as art making, painting, which is also a problem solving technique. What we have here in this image is actually a paintbrush created by a prisoner. This is his own hair, aluminum foil, and saran wrap. So someone who has a really limited access to materials, showing great innovation and creativity and problem-solving skills in his confined situation, and creating a tool to be able to express himself. So here is one of his paintings, Donnie Johnson is his name, and this is painted with the color of M&Ms that have been soaked off the outside. So no access to paints, how are you going to paint? So he got really creative within his problem solving. I like using prison, I'm not a prison advocate, I'm not a violence advocate, just to preface my next slide. But I like using prison as an example because the resources are limited. And you have limited access, limited space, all of that. You also have, this is from San Quentin, you also have the problem solving of if you hate your roommate and you don't want them around anymore, you are going to solve that problem by building a shank or a shiv. And there are categories and archives of all of the innovation that happens within prisons in terms of wanting to hurt someone. The most amazing one is toilet paper. Toilet paper becomes this tool and this material type that is really well manipulated, from everything from chess pieces and dice to actually a tool where you can hurt someone. So this is kind of how I really paint this picture of what creative reuse can be, what creativity is, and what problem solving is. So here's a more fun and pretty creative reuse. We have creative reuse of a table made out of picture frames. We have a book by one of my friends, Garth Johnson, 1,000 Ideas for Creative Reuse. In the lower left-hand corner is an image of a spin art machine made out of bicycle parts, a pallet, upside-down trash can, and we did spin art on records for a lot of our programming and outreach. And then in the bottom right-hand corner, we have a denim jean pocket that was turned into a knee patch pocket. to cover up a hole. So these are all, there's a wide variety of creative reuse concepts and upcycling, and the definition of creative reuse is, of course, reuse with that addition of creativity, especially within that function, that functionality of the object. So we have everything from everyday creative reuse here. We have this credit card signing machine that the pen's broken. You can see the 7-Eleven worker taped a chopstick to it. It's great, it's brilliant. I document these kinds of images all the time from all around the world. That's actually kind of how I started getting into creative reuse, was seeing this innovation on a very basic, everyday level. And then at the same time, we have the two most recent Pritzker Prize winners, Shigeru Ben and Frey Otto, who really used unique materials in their design. So you have the everyday creative reuse. This is a church designed by Shigeru Ben with cardboard tubes, and then the Frey Otto Japanese pavilion, which is actually paper on the top. So really elevating what creative reuse can be, and rewarding it, which is really exciting to see now. We actually partnered with a class at Humboldt State University. It was part of the Environmental Resource Engineering course and their appropriate technology department. And we posed this question to them, which was, here are these materials that we have. How can you innovate with these materials we have a hard time dealing with? Binders. Who uses binders these days? No one. Not a lot of people do. We get a ton of them donated, and so we're always trying to figure out how can we use binders differently, and how can creative reuse connect to the future of problem solving. Lots of materials and lots of innovation is kind of what we hope for. So these are a sample of some of the projects they did. What's unique in our collaboration is that they were able to also use a 3D printer. So a couple of the groups use 3D printing as a way to transform the traditional materials that we have challenges with. The carpet sample dry mop is a 3D printed component. The parabolic wax melter, the Forever Dry umbrella repair kit, which is really great. So if your umbrella totally unfolds and the top rips, they created a 3D printed repair kit to be able to repair it and keep using it. So we provided this class, we were their client for the semester, provided them with materials to see what they could come up with. And one of the most kind of simple but really exciting projects that I really enjoyed, to use my example, is the parabolic solar crayon melter. Yeah, you can imagine how many tiny bits of crayons we get donated. And it's amazing what a box of envelopes and some calendars and a gallon bag of crayons can do to transform a simple classroom. So they built the solar wax melter, which is a former satellite dish. They replace the satellite dishes, constantly on a tire to kind of give it a base. And then there's a soup can on there, and the crayons melt, and then they 3D printed us a custom crayon. So it was really thick and big, because that's the other problem, is those crayons can be really small for tiny hands. And it was a great example of these tiny crayon problem. That's the problem we gave them, was tiny crayons or tiny bits of wax. And they were able to come up with this really great solution that really works for our program as well. So kind of in closing, creative reuse is great for art, absolutely, but it's really about problem solving and creative thinking and supportive creative thinking. And my last kind of closing bit is, it's wonderful to think outside the box, and sometimes it takes that box to help you think outside of it. So thank you so much for your time.
All right, we have some time for questions. If folks have questions, raise your hands high. Arthur.
I have out on the NCRA table, I have a box of all the things I can't recycle, including the lids from takeout condiment packages. Okay, I can recycle the cup under the 2 ounces of barbecue sauce, but I can't recycle the Mylar lid, things like that.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to look at that and get some ideas, give me some ideas about how to
Absolutely, I would love to
appreciate it. Thank you.
ideas for you, for sure. I also want to point out that appropedia.org is a great appropriate technology resource. It's a wiki, so you can edit it and test out all the projects. Our page has about 1,300 views, and all the 3D printed items are available on Thingiverse for downloading, and they've been downloaded over 300 times, which is really exciting too. So, yeah, any other questions? Appropedia.org, and then there's Thingiverse, which there's links on the Appropedia website for that. Yeah. Cool. Thank you.